everyone. Hi, favored ones. Welcome to Soul Talk. Our guest for today is Stephen Ko. He is the co-founder and CEO of WTH Foods or Worth the Health Foods. It's a plant-based food processing and manufacturing company, and they create and innovate plant-based meat or alternative protein using local ingredients. So he's very, very passionate in using bioscience and plant-based entrepreneurship to create a social impact. And I'm really excited that he's here to talk about it, to talk about his life, and to share his wisdom and insight because you wouldn't be a very knowledgeable person if you haven't, you wouldn't reach this kind of level if you're not really that knowledgeable. So I'm really excited to have him here with us in Soul Talk. Let's all welcome Stephen. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me here.
Yes, really excited. I saw that recently you were in Singapore. Well, what is keeping you busy? Because I know you're also a family man, but it seems that you are so busy with food innovation. It's a different world compared to mine. Definitely a different world. But maybe you could share a little bit so that we could get a glimpse of what your life is about.
Yeah, so I like what you said about food innovation. So that's really my passion and entrepreneurship, of course. So food innovation is, so we talk about the future of food. So WTH Foods is a plant-based alternative protein company, startup. We're based in Philippines and we do research in Singapore as well, which is the hub for alternative proteins in Southeast Asia. So they have the talent, they have the equipment there, and that's what we visited last week. So when we talk about alternative proteins, we talk about the future of food and how do we feed 10 billion people by 2050. So we are when we say alternative protein and why people choose plant-based or these alternative proteins, it's number one for health, and number two for sustainability, and three for animal welfare. So it hits all the right points. And we also talk about food security because when by 2050, while the population will grow by 35%, experts predict that
the projection
our demand for protein will go up by 70%, and we need to double crops production to feed the animals that will supply the protein. So we are always looking for alternative sources of protein, and for us, it's plants. Why go through animals when we can extract the proteins from plants and create and make them into delicious products that taste like meat? We have the technology. We have there's no need to kill animals to enjoy like the delicious processed meat products that we all enjoy.
But it's very, very insightful when you said that it hits all three important aspects that our society is facing right now, which is health, sustainability, and animal welfare. How do you feel here in the Philippines? Kasi a lot of the people are still in survival mode, and there's a lot of animals who are being abused in the inhumane treatment. Is this also part of the initiative to educate and to maybe expand the consciousness of Filipinos as well?
Yes, definitely. So I agree with you that we are still in the market education phase, especially for plant-based meats or plant-based alternative protein. They think that animal meat is superior or it's a sign of wealth for those rising in the social classes. But we are trying to show that that plant-based meat can be as affordable, accessible, convenient compared to animal meats. I mean, just an example, because of the African swine fever, I think back in 2021, prices of pork reached 450 pesos per kilo, and that became quite inaccessible to the mainstream Filipinos na rin. And our products at the moment, we are before very long, we'll be achieving price parity with the animal products that we are replacing. So we want these Filipinos to really not be able to distinguish, what is plant-based and what is animals. They enjoy the same. It's great taste. It's great price, and it's very convenient. And I think that will encourage Filipinos, including the market education, why we're going into plant-based. And so that will, I hope that will those this is our plan to make plant-based mainstream in the Philippines.
Yes, you've talked about the science, diba? You went to the lab and all that. But as an entrepreneur, you're entering, is it a small market? Because there is already a current market for people who prefers plant-based food. But then not right now, it seems like you'd want to expand this market to, is it like entering a new market? How do you look at it when you are an entrepreneur and you'd want to introduce this new product? There must be a lot of challenges. It's not just about the behavior and the attitude that you have to change. There's so much more, even the taste of how do you address all that?
So we're not trying to reinvent the market. The market is there. The market that we're trying to capture are the same market of the processed meat products. So sausages, hot dogs, corned beef, canned tuna. I mean, these are very affordable products and became staple products of Filipino diet. We want to replace them with healthier alternatives, with plant-based alternatives. So people would say then process yung plant-based or highly processed yung plant-based. But there are research coming out that says that even though these plant-based meats are more processed compared to, let's say, like your piece of steak, but the gut flora actually suggests that they thrive better pa rin with a plant-based diet compared to very heavy on animal proteins and fats. So we're not like reinventing the market. It's still a niche market at the moment, yes. But we're not also targeting the vegans or purely plant-based. It's a very small market. What we are targeting is mainstream. So and this mainstream market will continue to grow as I've mentioned. Even the Philippines will grow by 35% by 2050 to around 135 million Filipinos. And our target markets are the Gen Z and the millennials who will grow up to be the leaders next time in their families, in the country, and we want to be a sustainable generation by that time.
Yeah. It's very exciting the way you talk about it, the way you visualize the future. What's the possibility for plant-based, that it's really mainstream, it's not just a niche, and there's so much passion in what you're doing. I'm sure there's a lot of things that's going on. Of course, you're talking about it right now. It seems so simple and straightforward, but then at the background, we're not really sure what's happening. I'm sure there's really, really a lot. Where do you get your energy in all of these? And you also have your family life to di pwede pabayaan yun, di ba? So, but WTH is also your baby. How do you find your energy? Where's the passion coming from?
What's amazing is I've seen quite a few of your episodes, and a lot of people talk about the purpose and their why and why we got into entrepreneurship. And it sounds cliche, pero it's also the why. And additionally, it's our stakeholders. I get energy from the people around me, from our customers, from our suppliers, from my team, from my baby who I want to grow up to be sustainable, or to think about to think unselfishly. My usual concern is why why our generation consumes so much. I think this is about sustainability. You consume so much such that you leave very little for the next generation. And I think that kind of mindset should change. And you know, there's no better way. I'm full of energy at the moment. I'm mid-30s, and I think this is the prime of my life. So I think there is no better time to practice what I preach, to devote all my energy into trying to convince the world to be more sustainable in my own little way, which is food innovation.
What's the biggest thing that happened in your life that, you know, made you go towards this direction in food innovation? It's not every day that we meet people who are in this field, and yet here you are. Are there specific influences or a particular experience that really made such an impact in your life that propelled you towards this path?
I think it's well, if you want to start in the beginning, like maybe 12 years ago, when I graduated from Ateneo from biology, and then I went to do my master's in Cambridge in the UK. I just saw that there was, there was a dream of dreaming bigger for the nation, for the country, beyond like dreaming for myself. And I think about putting the Philippines in the map of innovation. That's my personal goal or personal dream. Science commercialization, convincing the world that Philippine science is worth it. I've also seen at a university, there's a lot of researches that are not commercialized, but are very good. And that is my passion. And I thought that science across the years is best expressed through food, especially in a country that is very agricultural and food loving. So yeah, and so I thought like, okay, I want to come back to the Philippines and commercialize science and convince the world that the Philippines can be an innovative country, and that is the deep passion I have. And I hope that with the pandemic, with having a baby, these also parang further accelerate or added fuel to my desire of really making a change in this lifetime, in this world.
It's interesting that you mentioned science commercialization. This is the first time that I've heard this term, that science can be commercialized. Am I getting it right?
That should be the goal. Because in the West, diba? I mean, these advanced economies built their economies through innovation, through science. The only way to be an innovative country is for more scientists, for more engineers to think of solutions in the many problems of the world, of the country, and commercialize them. Of course, there is some sake in science for science sake. Na you do your theoretical research, coming up with new knowledge, but I think the best way is to apply science in real markets, and that will really propel us as a country to be an innovative nation, innovative people. So I mean, the only way to test the practical purpose of science or the application is to apply it in real markets. So that's what I mean when I talk about science commercialization, and why I think that science I know is best expressed through food. It's people touch it, people eat it. Like you engage all your senses when the food is in front of you, and then I'll tell you, this is science innovation. You're eating a meat-like product, but without killing animals, and you still enjoy it. You still get the same satisfaction of eating meat, but without, but being like very sustainable. Yeah.
It's wonderful, really amazing that you, at a young age, college and during masters, you were quite young back then, and yet you were so conscious of social issues. You saw a solution to a certain, it's not even a small issue, it's a big issue, and yet you're courageous enough to take the steps to address it. That's amazing. And but one question though, because yes, I can see where you're going at when you talk about science and commercializing it, bringing it to the market so that you could bring in a lot of solutions to world problems. Is the Philippines ready for that? Is the system in place? Does DOST have enough programs to encourage the younger minds, the younger generations to be, to walk the path of innovation? Do you think we're also getting there, even if it's little by little?
Yes, throughout the past 10 years, I think across different administrations, I think people are starting to pay attention to science, especially with like the pandemic and several previous problems like traffic uh, or food insecurity or disaster management. I mean, you need science to try to solve them, and I think to all the administration's credit over the past 10 years, the budget for science in the government budget has steadily increased. So I can't give the figure.
It's
I
fine.
know we're still I know we're still lower compared to our other ASEAN neighbors in terms of percentage of the GDP dedicated for science. But I think we're getting there, and the good thing as well is the government offices in the Philippines are starting to be filled up by younger generations and younger people, and they are uh, more knowledgeable and more open to seeing what's out there in the world and trying to bring it in the Philippines. So, yun, I'm
Let's
almost
pray for change. Even if it's little changes, it's still progress when we talk about it. But thank you for that little sharing. I am not really aware about the field of science. I am more in business and finance. But thank you for sharing that little insight. So let's go back to you. What are the major lessons that you have overcome, the situations that you've gone through that has shaped who you are right now, shaped your character, your personality into this best version of you right now?
so yeah, for the past 2 years, of course, I have a 2-year-old baby. So could you say a pandemic baby then? He was born like 1 month after the start of the pandemic in
Wow.
March 2020, and then of course, like with a craft beer, with my craft beer brand, Viva Brew, it we also lost like a ton of sales because of the pandemic response, because of all the shutdowns, the lockdowns. But as an entrepreneur, I think you just have to keep pushing keep pushing, keep dreaming, keep taking risks until you can. You'd rather die fighting than giving up. I think those are what propelled me to pivot ba or what or think of
That's
another
the common term right now, to pivot. To pivot.
yeah,
Yeah.
or and with the baby and the new business nga, and then seeing like what's out there in the world and how a lot of investors are also funding the space. The sector is still very hot. Plant-based or meat alternatives or alternative proteins, and there's so much to do in this space as well. And the pandemic actually accelerated the space. Then they realized that, of course, uh, if you not believe, but it's a fact that uh, that this pandemic started from animals. That because of the way we have a relationship with like wild animals ngayon and the close contact that we have. And, all these diseases cross over from animals to humans. As as investors become sophisticated as well and saw this, then they started investing in the alternative protein sector, realizing its value for the future. So I think it's the combination for me as well of all those things that that brought me to where I am right now. Yeah, so very, very focused on trying to grow the business, trying a very relevant business also for the next generation, and it's a very good place to be. Yeah, especially coming out of the pandemic, and I think people are more aware of their habits, of their health, of their diet. I'm praying that the sector will just grow. The healthy plant-based alternative protein industry.
Sure, it's very close to your heart because when you talk about the future, you have you have a baby, and you're as a father, how does it feel when you look at how society is going right now? Is it really that hopeful, or are you kind of sad na ganito yung nangyari? what kind of what kind of impact would you want to leave for your baby?
I think as a person, I'm generally hopeful. I think hope is the one thing that you cannot take away from human beings. I think hope is what makes us human. Besides like faith and love. But yeah, like I am generally a hopeful person, diba? Na parang I am more than happy to bring forth a next generation, because I know that at any given time, I see the good in humanity, and there will be people who will stand up, fight for what is right, and try to make the world a better place. I mean, yeah, like personally, like I'm just quite sad to see some people who lose hope, or but this is life. Like it's beautiful. The world is beautiful. It can be a bit messy, but I think at the end of the day, like I think we're having this soul talk for this very reason, that you'll find hope. We all find hope deep inside, and yeah, like I want to impart that to Toby, to the next generation, and to everyone, that as long as you're breathing, as long as you're alive, hope is what makes us human.
Really, I wouldn't top that anymore. That's beautiful. To be openly talking about hope, that there's always hope, no matter what the situation is, no matter what we have on our plates, there's always hope. It's a beautiful mindset. It's this is the kind of mental attitude that I want to see every day in the people that I interact with. it's ayoko ng victimhood kasi. so so of course I do want that victory kind of mindset, and it's beautifully said, what you have just shared. Is it also the kind of attitude that you have for IPA group, because that was your first, diba? That was the first na it's still continuous, diba? I mean, it's still here.
Yeah, so like yun nga, parang as the founder and CEO, parang I also have that about like not moral obligation, but that vision that I have to share with the team. And it's very important that I don't lose hope, because as a startup, you can't, it's not like my team, with their startup pace as well. They see the vision. I make them see the vision, and it's through eyes of optimism and hope that the vision is clear. So for everyone. So when they, and you have to believe it. I have to believe it myself. Na things will get better. Things will always get better. And I hope that they see that. So, and that, I think that what brings the company onwards and upwards and forward. This, yeah, like the vision of the leader talaga. And I'm just so happy. I don't know how I got that, pero yeah, I'm quite happy to be a hopeful person.
It's something that we all need, that kind of optimism, so that we could continue what it is that we are called to do. And starting Nipa Brew, that's kind of it's different. Kasi di ba, iba yun sa commercialized beers that's available in the market. And then, but Nipa Brew has so much personality. It has so much character. It's different, totally different approach nyo to it. Are you still involved with Nipa Brew?
Yeah, more on it's running on its own. So I'm devoting most of my energy in WTH.
So meron ka ng parang machinery that would allow it to run on its own. So
yeah, most ano naman, yeah. So that's what I also like as an entrepreneur, parang putting systems in place. So I think as a CEO, parang I am working on the business. I'm not really working in the business. It's always they look to me for the next strategy, for the next move. So yeah, I love like trying to put systems in place so they run and then they're ready for growth.
that is something that a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs should also understand at the onset. You're working on the business. You're not working in the business or for the business. It's iba yun ah. That's something new. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I really rely on like team members. That like I think I cannot run any business alone. So I value great people. I value, so yeah, if anyone wants to join our mission of making plant-based future a reality, just get in touch. I always have space for for anyone talented. Yeah.
No, I'll share your not contact details, not the personal contact details, but your business, the contact details of the business or the websites. Ang dami kasi. That's also that's something I also admire, the marketing strategies that you've put in place. It's wonderfully done. Wonderfully done.
Thank you.
What message could you share so that because your consciousness, your attitude, the way you see life, it's one of a kind. So what message can you share so that others could also be in this kind of space wherein there's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of innovation and optimism, passion, so that they could achieve life goals that's not just personal life goals, but something that could also impact society? What could you share?
I think at the end of the day, as humans, we want to be happy, diba? So parang at the end of the day, you can keep asking why you're doing this, and then you can go deeper. So why, and then why again, and then at the end of it, it's the answer is because it makes me happy, and I think we should get in touch with that level of self-awareness of what really makes us happy, because in a world where everything is very capitalistic, very materialistic, at the end of the day, you have to live life the way you want to live your life. It's a marathon. It's not a race. At the end of the day, this is my. I always say this, parang on my deathbed. Death is like the end of any possibility. So while you're alive and there's so much possibilities, you just have to grab the opportunity and make all the possibilities that make you happy happen. You know, I didn't 10 years ago, I didn't realize like how a baby can grow up so fast. Now I'm seeing, especially because of the pandemic, you know, working from home, parang I see him grow up so fast in this in a blink of an eye. So I feel my age. I'm also starting to feel the age, diba? And yeah, I'm happy that you know, I hope there's still a long many days ahead of me, and I make every day. I live every day as if it's my last. Making sure that every day I try to be happy every day, and when you find that why, and at the end of the answer is like because it makes me happy. I think that's the way to live. It gives you so much hope to live every day, to wake up every day, to wake up the next day, and yeah, and so live your life, live your everyday as if it's your last. Not naman abusing it like
Of
drinking so
course.
much and everything, diba? But
Mhm.
yeah, so that kind of grateful gratitude, and the world doesn't owe you anything. Exactly, you're not the victim. The world doesn't owe you anything, um, but you're grateful, and we can be happy, and you appreciate everyone. That whenever I meet a lot of people, diba, sa they go back. No, we all run our different what is it, like marathon, parang ganyan,
Mhm.
different lives, diba? And when you truly appreciate how the other person you're talking to is living his life, and then it's just amazing how beautiful life is. Now there's so many choices, so many, and everyone is just trying to be happy at the end of it. So that's, I don't know if that makes sense, pero
Of
that's how I
course,
live.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
I know. I completely agree to that. I super agree to that kind of values and beliefs that you have. I know, totally. I because I checked your LinkedIn, I realized that you launched recently Umami. Tama ba? Umani?
Umani.
Am I right?
Parang
Umani.
umani is the Tagalog word for harvest, di ba?
Oo, yung Ani coming from the root word Ani. Yes. Before we end, would you like to plug that in?
Yeah, so we just launched our plant-based brand Umani. It's kind of like a rebranding of WTH. So we want to grow Umani to be a global brand, but a very Filipino brand to the world. So that's our goal for the next few years of launching Umani in different ASEAN countries as well, like Singapore, Thailand, and yeah, this is our way of so support us. Maybe I'm pitching to chefs to try.
Already available here in the Philippines.
We're targeting B2B for now. So actually we're putting up
Ah,
B2B food service. So we're actually putting up also like parang our own small bistro, mga umani bistros. Siguro like some cloud kitchen as well. Using our plant-based meats in Filipino dishes, or in yeah. So it's not completely vegan yet yung our dishes in the bistro, but it just goes to show how versatile the
yes.
Umani line of products are.
Oo. Oh, that's so aligned to what you just said. Na kanina, you want it to be mainstream. You're not just targeting the vegan or the ano. It's something that you could use with all the other potahe that we have in that's available in the market. Beautiful, ang galing. Amazing, amazing, Stephen. I love it. But thank you so much for joining us and sharing your time and your knowledge to us here. And I'm really grateful that this is a good opportunity for me to connect with you once again. Really appreciate this. And of course, for the favored ones, I hope that this conversation has also blessed you. For the aspiring entrepreneurs, ano, maybe pwede nyo hiramin yung consciousness ni Stephen. That's a very, very nice consciousness. I love it. So thank you so much. And of course, I'll post naman all what do you call this? All the websites, the Facebook pages that WTH has, so that you'd also be aware of what plant-based products are available right now.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for the soul talk.
Yes, God bless everyone. Take care.